wake up! It's time to push, y'all! It's the Power Push Podcast with Thea Patterson. Let's go!
It's the Power Push. Get the 7-minute Power Push all over your timeline. Power Push. You can catch it on replay or you can watch us live. Power Push. If you can dream it, believe it, do it. Power Push. Let's Power Push. Power Push. Let's Power Push. Power Push with push it to the limit, push it to the limit. And start your Wednesday right from the beginning. A dose of inspiration in 7 minutes. So here's an invitation, come through and kick it. On Facebook Live at 8 a.m. Now like this vid and share with a friend. If you're too tired up to tune in, just hit the replay so either way you win. Dream it, believe it, let's do it, y'all. We all can achieve, push through it, y'all. Dream it, believe it, let's do it, y'all. We all can achieve, push through it, y'all. Yeah. Get the 7-minute Power Push all over your timeline. Push. You can catch it on replay or you can watch us live. Power Push. If you can dream it, believe it, do it. Power Push. Let's Power Push. Power Push. Let's Power Push. Power Push with
All right, yes. What is up? What's going on? Good morning, everybody. What's going on? Great morning, everybody. How are you guys doing this awesome Wednesday morn? If you are in the great state or the city of Charleston, you know it is a very dark, rainy morning, but everyone, it is a great morning to go ahead and push. What's going on? I am your amazing host. My name is Thea Patterson, your power pusher. Welcome to the Power Push Sphere. What's going on? Hey guys, go ahead. Say what up to your girl now. Y'all don't be rude now. I know your mom taught you better. Go ahead and say hey. Say hey. Hey there. Latier, how you doing? What's going on? D. Hayward in the building. Hey there, Kendrick. Say hi. I want to say what up to you. I want to say hello to you. You guys already know how it goes. I am so excited about today. Let me tell you how excited I am. I am so excited. Not only did I put on the pearls, listen, I put on perfume. You hear me? I said, I'm going to smell my best. I'm going to look my best because this one we got on the show today, it's going to be good. All right. Listen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Thea, and I am here to help those who are trying to reposition their life for greatness. My main purpose is to help in the area of personal awareness. Sometimes we just don't know what we're doing to stop us from getting over there. So I am here to help with that. Yes, I am. And y'all already know I'm your homegirl with one dimple, some cute, and a whole lot of God. I'm that person that has just learned to accept me for me. Not hood enough for the hood, not church enough for the church. I'm right here just being Thea. So that's what it is. And I just come through. I just want to make you feel good. I want to make you feel encouraged. I want to uplift you, and I want to help you get unstuck. Somebody type in unstuck. It is high time that we are unstuck from where we've been. Some of us have been on the hamster wheel for years and years and years. And I just believe it's time to get off, right? I believe it's time to get off of the hamster wheel and start actually moving. Somebody type in push. Yeah. Listen, y'all, listen, the saints are being obedient this morning. Thank you. Good morning. Hey, that's Sandra. That's my girl. Edison in the building. Yeah. All right. Unstuck. It's time to be unstuck. And so kicking off this whole thing, last week we talked about me versus me. Me versus me. And we talked about overthinking. And that really struck a chord because a lot of us, we really are stuck because we are overthinking our way out of where we should be. We're overthinking ourselves out of our dreams, overthinking ourselves out of our ideas, overthinking ourselves out of moving forward. And so I just believe, and you can call me crazy, but unpopular opinion, I believe that in this season, we should look good and be good. And the only way to be that way is to be good on the inside, just as good as you are on the outside, okay? Listen, we believe you need to pray, pursue, and persist until something happens. Why? Because a lot of us are praying, but we're not following the instructions. If you pray, if you really pray, God is going to tell you to do something, whether it's say hi, say hello, pick up the phone, write the book, start the ministry, start the business, whatever he says, you're going to have to do something. So we have to pray, we have to pursue, and oh my goodness, a lot of us know you have to stay persistent. So that's what we're doing. If you guys are ready for me versus me, type in push. Whew, listen, I'm just so ready for today, okay? I pulled out all stops, all right? And this is so last minute. So I'm going to, without further ado, let me introduce my special guest, okay? Y'all already know her. But let me read off this entire bio before I even bring her in, because I got to give her the proper introduction. You hear me? Okay, here we go. So my special guest is Miss Kenya Dunn. Somebody make some noise. Just put those clapping emojis in the comments. Listen, Miss Kenya Dunn is the visionary and founder of the Power Filled Woman brand. Yes, she is. The Power Filled Woman mission is to impact the lives of 1 million women across the globe. Kenya is fulfilling her mission through her annual conference. How do I know? Because I'm the host, and it's amazing, okay? Through her annual conference, Power Filled, as well as her global community organization for women of color called the Power Tribe. Listen, she also has a full service coaching and consulting firm where she works with businesses and corporations to develop growth strategies. Come on, anybody need to grow? Through diversity, equity, and inclusion lens, okay? Kenya also offers executive coaching services. Listen, Kenya's passion is creating experiences that have positive effects on character, behavior, and development of others. Listen, she's so dope. I got to read this whole thing. Kenya has recently joined the executive team of Life Tagger Inc. As the chief operating officer. The role catapults Kenya into her other space where women of color are underrepresented. Listen, Life Tagger is a tech startup company. Come on, can you see? All right, listen, okay. Kenya has experience in senior executive roles in corporate America. She also serves on the community board and leverages her influence to advance the interests of people of color, specifically women. Somebody, anybody, everybody that's watching. Firstly, if you haven't already shared this, share this out. But while you're sharing, go ahead and put those clap emojis in the comments as I bring in the Miss Kenya Dunn. Come on, y'all, make some noise.
Good morning, Dia.
Good morning.
I just love your energy. I'm here for it. I love your energy.
I woke up. I already told you I could barely rest, y'all. I was up all night. So I had like 17 dreams that I will oversleep. And so I think that's what was like, just get up. Just go ahead and get up. So I have been up and I'm just very excited. Thank you so much for being on with me this morning and just for sharing the platform to help other women just to be their best selves. I gave you the introduction, your bio, but can you go ahead and talk to the people, introduce yourself?
Well, yeah, thank you so much. A great reading of the bio, but I am Kenya Dunn, and I'll tell you, I am so much bigger than that bio, and everything that I do is tied to my passion, which is creating experiences that will unlock is really the word, something that changes and improves the character, the development, and the behavior of others. I developed and created my entire corporate career around that strategy of really, really helping people tap into what I believe God has already given all of us. Like, I'm not an expert in who you are. You're an expert in who you are. My job, I would probably sum it up in one word, is a coach. So as a coach, I help you to uncover the right plays for your own life. And I've recently left, it's almost a year now that I left corporate America, and I have journeyed on this new mountain of diversity, equity, and inclusion in everything that I do. So the purpose is this, because we are way too underrepresented. People of color in general, specifically African Americans and our Hispanic and Latino brothers and sisters. And so I'm leveraging my experience, my influence, and my leadership to really change that dynamic. So when you think about Kenya, think about a roadblock remover. When you think about Kenya, think about a coach who's going to push you yet support you, and all in love, and be there to celebrate you when you win. When you think about Kenya, think about someone that is going to always challenge you to dig deeper within, because within is where the answer lies. So I'm excited to be here today. Dia already said that she is a host for my conference, Power Field, and the same energy that we see this morning is the same energy that I have known Dia. I don't know that I've ever seen her not with this energy. And I love the fact that she has embraced who she is, because it is a light for the rest of us. So thanks for having me.
Oh my goodness. Come on, y'all, make some noise for Kenya. Go ahead, put those clap emojis in the comments. Oh my goodness. Unlock is like the perfect word for you. If I can share, I remember when we had this meeting, and firstly, wait, I gotta pause for a second. Kenya's birthday, was it yesterday or was it the day before yesterday?
It was Monday. It was Monday.
Listen, happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. I can see the birthday glow. Okay. I know you enjoyed yourself. I remember when we had this sit down meeting, we were preparing for Power Field, and just kind of sitting there and talking to you, and how you kind of shared your backstory with me, but you're so graceful. Like, just talking to you, you did exactly what you intended to do, I would imagine, which is unlock. Although I had already kind of accepted who I was, I knew who I was. I knew where I wanted to go and who I wanted to be. But you really allowed me to accept my story. Do you know what I mean? Like, not try to change it, not try to adjust it. No remorse, no regret. Don't be upset. Just get it. You know what I'm saying? And so you really, 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 you unlocked me. So, girl, when you said yes, I said, girl, I ran around. Very excited because of your humility and your grace. And let's talk about coffee with Kenya. How did that happen? Let's go there. Then we're gonna go back, because I do want to talk about your experience in corporate America and just kind of how you transitioned into where you are right now. But I do want to talk about coffee with Kenya.
Yeah. Coffee with Kenya really came as a necessary thing for myself. So we're all in this quarantine, and I hope everyone out there is being safe and being smart, and that you're well. But I might be textbook ambivert, but I lean toward extroversion more than anything. Like, people drive me. I get energy from people. And so one of the things that I needed to do was I had to figure out, like, how in the world am I going to still interact with people in this COVID? And the funny thing is I started working on this journey of writing a book, and then I was having a hard time. And so I put the book down. And so I kind of put writing down. But out of this COVID, it was more of my need to interact with other people. Like, I need a moment where I can see faces and I can talk to people. My preference is to be in the physical space, but if I can't, how else can I do that? So I literally, well, and shout out to April Williamson, the owner of the Governor's Wife Boutique, and also my best friend, Katanya, because a long time ago, between the two of them, they came up with this name, Coffee with Kenya, and this whole idea. So I was like, well, why don't I just, and I wrote it down and I ignored them at the time, just so you know. I was like, I don't know what they talked about. Like, I don't know about that. And in the quarantine, it kind of came back and I was like, huh, I could do Coffee with Kenya, because what I love to do every morning is have my coffee. And so I figured I would just reach out and bring in as many people as possible into this group, into this space. And so Coffee with Kenya is really my opportunity to do two things. So every week I release a blog. See, I went back to writing. Every week I release a blog, and I pray about, like, what should I blog about? What should I say? And I do the blog, and I give the people 2 to 3 days to read the blog. And then on Monday mornings, because Mondays are like, people are like, oh, it's Monday, it's doom and gloom. Well, no, let's jumpstart Monday, because every day is what we make it. So we jump on a call for like 30 minutes and we talk about the blog. And it gives me an opportunity to expand upon the inspiration for the blog, the lessons within the blog, because I try to keep the blog not too long. So there's so much detail that I leave out. So the Coffee with Kenya just allows me to share. And I actually said, I'm only going to do this for a few weeks. And every time I say, this is going to be my last week, I'll get a message or 2 or 10 from people. It's like, this is so good. This is so good. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I was ready to put it down. So that's how Coffee with Kenya came, and it has blessed me. I've made new connections with people as a result, and I've learned a lot from the people who join as well.
I love that. I love that. So I love Coffee with Kenya. I meant to have my cup. I'm trying to step up my mug game because y'all mugs be full of life. I'm not a coffee drinker, I'm a tea drinker, but I absolutely love Coffee with Kenya, mainly because, now I'm going to share this. It's a little secret. I don't want y'all to tell nobody, but so I only read like short things. Do you know what I mean? So like when you first started the blog, I just started reading it and I can completely identify with it. So now I'm like legit reading full blogs. Okay. So thank you for opening me up. Okay. Because I listen to audiobooks and I watch movies. Like that's what we do. We watch and we listen. But your blog has opened me up. And that is exactly why I called you on here today. I hope you guys have a few more extra minutes than our normal power push, because I really, really, really want to dive into why we overthink and what is going on. And I wanted you to help us get out of our own way. So one of the blogs that you wrote, it talked about our self-talk. Can you go into that and what inspired the blog and just everything about the whole negative self-talk?
Yeah, and so the term that I've given it is the story we tell ourselves. And that was the framework for the blog. And what inspired it is because we're all always on this constant journey of telling ourselves stories. Every day we get up, we tell ourselves a story. We tell ourselves a story about the day we're going to have. We tell ourselves a story about how we feel in the moment. We tell ourselves a story about, everything. So every moment in we are telling ourselves stories. So I was actually inspired to write it because it is a point of self-awareness for myself, that I always have to make sure that I am in touch with the story that I'm telling myself, because the minute the story becomes something that's unproductive, I have a responsibility to change the story. So it's the story we tell ourselves. And what I decided not to use the word negative self-talk for a few reasons. Is because when you think about a story takes you on a journey, right? You read stories, you listen to stories as children. If you're listening to an audio book, it's taking you on this journey. There are feelings that are connected to the story. There are memories from other times that are connected to the story. So when I say the story we're telling ourselves, I want you to also not just listen to what you're saying, but what feelings are coming up for you. And also what past experiences are trying to validate the story that's in your head. So that's why I said it's the story we tell ourselves and not just negative self-talk, because negative self-talk just it's short-sighted. And I believe that it hinders us from really breaking through. And so it's about self-awareness. And you said it at the beginning that you're here to help with self-awareness. And it truly is about self-awareness.
Yeah, it is. It is. I love that. The story you tell yourself. Somebody type in, I tell my story. Type that in the comments. It's my story. So I can't control it. And that is with reading the blog, that's what I got out of it. I control my story. I control the story that I tell myself. I control it. It doesn't have to be, even if it looks like it.
Yeah.
The Bible says, speak things that are not as though they are. And
absolutely.
So I can say, I can make it what I want to be. Do you know what I mean? And so I just listen. It's all about the story that you tell. So I want you to tell the story that you told. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. All right. Well, and it was going to go to the next point, so it's perfect timing. I gave an example of the story we tell ourselves, and again, remember, stories invoke feelings. Mm-hmm. Stories invoke memories. They bring back memories, and so sometimes we get stuck behind those stories, and we start feeling inadequate. And so the one thing that telling yourself or being aware of the story you're telling yourself is it allows you to be honest. It allows you to be honest with the most important person in your life, and that is yourself. And so a lot of times we don't attach the right or appropriate words to the way that we're feeling. And so I told this example of a story of when I did my first presentation conversation with the CEO of the company that I worked for. And I was so terrified. I was nervous, to say the least. And to keep the story short, I was really nervous and afraid, even though I knew my business, even though I knew a lot of things. And so I had to back up and ask myself, what story am I telling myself that's got me so wound up in my feelings and so wound up and nervous about going into this meeting? And the story that I was telling myself is that I was inadequate, that my experience versus his experience was inadequate, and that he knew more than me. And so if he asked me something that I didn't know, I wasn't going to be prepared. And so then I also was scared. I was afraid that I was going to fail. But what I really want to hang our hats on for a minute is that feeling of inadequacy, because what I was doing was I was comparing. And the truth of the matter is he does have more experience than I do, because he's a CEO of a company. And that's true, right? But the inadequate feeling or the story that I had to rewrite for myself was, what do I offer and what do I have? Because although he knows business better than I do, he doesn't know my business better than I do. And so I had to rewrite that story for myself to say, yeah, that's true. He might ask you some tough questions. Yeah, that's true. He does know more than you. It's not a might. He knows more than you do about business based on his experience and time and it than yours. But what you know and what makes you strong is that you know your business, you're highly successful, and you have a proven track record that says that you deserve to walk in that room and tell them what you want them to know. And so that's the story that I told. I told a little bit different this time, but it really was about facing the fact that I felt inadequate, and understanding why I felt inadequate, and then going through the process of recalling the right memories, because that's the other thing, right? So your memories that are recalled based on those stories can be helpful or they can be hindrances. And so I had to go back and find some helpful stories. And my helpful stories was the proof in the pudding of the results that I had. And, no one can put you in your place. I'm in my place. I earned my place. I earned this moment to be in this room. And so what the hell are you waiting for, right? Like Jay-Z says. So walk into it, and it turned out just like most things. It was great, right? It turned out great, like most things. But if I did not take the time to face what I was really telling myself, and that feeling of inadequacy, I could have self-sabotaged myself in that presentation.
I love that. I love that. Listen, if you have not already shared this out, go ahead and share. And once you share, make sure you put hashtag share so that I can, see, so I can shout you out. Listen, I just want to recalibrate real quick. This is Miss Kenya Dunn. She is the founder of the Powerful Woman brand. She is the founder of the Power Tribe, and also she is the chief operator of Life Tagger. And we are talking. Listen, Kenya, so many nuggets, so many things you said in that. Firstly, listen, I want somebody to type in "stop comparing." In this story, you talked about how you compare, and I feel like a good majority of us, the problem that we're having, that we fight ourselves with, is the fact that we are comparing. We're comparing experience. We are comparing these different things. And I love how you said you had to recall the right story.
That's right.
Helpful memory. Some of us, we already have the story already written. Listen, he already knows more than me. It's like our nerves take over. And all I know you said no negative self-talk, but we bring back everything that is going to validate our feelings. And so at some point we have got to kind of stop and recalibrate and bring back the results, bring back the receipts of no. I'm here because I'm supposed to be here. I may not have more than him. I may not do more than her. I may not look like her, but I'm here because I'm supposed to be here. I love somebody type in helpful stories. Some of us have got to bring back the helpful memories. It's so easy to go to something, something dark, or to something that validates our fear. To be honest, it's kind of easier to validate the fear so that you can stop than it is to say, okay, because it sounds like you had a rock type of moment. Like you were in the ring with yourself, like, no, I could just see you. Like, I just picture this. So picture this, okay? Picture this, okay? It seems like the way you told the story, like you are sitting there and you're in the ring and you're ready because you're called to this. You're invited to this meeting. You are here on assignment and you had to get back in that corner with yourself and say, no, what's happening here? It's like you had to talk yourself down. No, what's happening here? Let's talk about the good things you have done. Let's talk about all the accomplishments you have achieved. Let's talk about the things that are really going to help you win this fight, instead of the things that are gonna, instead of validating this nervousness. Because at the end of the day, is it not just nervousness because you don't know what's gonna happen?
It is. And I'll tell you the other thing, the reason that's important is because of you need to also know your why, right? You need to know the why it's important for you to be successful. Who is depending on you to be successful? Mm-hmm. And so for me, if I use my own, that go back to that example, one, I was the only woman in my role for a long time. I was the only African American in my role. And so I had thousands of people that were depending on me to be successful. So what I could not do is I could not stay stuck. Mm-hmm. I needed to make sure that I got myself out, because when I look over my shoulder and look behind me, there are thousands of people who are depending on me to show up and to fight harder than I've ever fought, so that when they come, they don't have to fight as hard. Mm-hmm. So I think the other point of that is the motivation to have that. I love what you said. You're right. I was in a fight with myself, is that you got to always know your why. And for me, I know my why, and it's bigger than just, the four walls of my house, and my husband and my children, but it is all the people who look up to me. It's all the people who, when they see the only Black face on the stage, in front of thousands and thousands, and they are starry-eyed and say, oh my gosh, I want to be like her. It is for them too, that I can't get stuck behind those stories.
I love that. I love that. Somebody type in, it's bigger than me. It is bigger than me. And that is exactly why we are talking about this today, because I think that we get so stuck in our heads and we forget that it really is bigger than you.
Mhm.
It's so much more than you. And if God called you to it, it's so much more than you. Like, honestly, he calls you, he don't even call you for you. He calls you because it's bigger than you. I almost ran around. You hear me? That was good to me.
Me too.
It's bigger than me. And that is one thing that I had to realize almost immediately. Like, this is not for me. And so, Kenya, there's this example that I love to use. I feel like life is like a checkerboard. It's a checkerboard. We are a spot on the checkerboard. But listen, I need to jump over there. I need to move to the next spot. But if you're standing in that spot, if you're standing still, I won't move. And so if you're standing still, the person you're supposed to help, they're not moving. If you are and I always use it in the way of abuse. So if you have just migrated out of abuse and you have just healed from it, or you are making your way through it and you don't move from this section, the person is still there. So we have got to move so that they can move. It's bigger than me. Somebody type in, it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me.
Yeah.
It's bigger than me. It's not. So if anything, if you are overthinking, if you are in your own way, a good thing to go ahead and put in your forgot the word. Your I am statements is it's bigger than me. Wait, what is it called? Affirmations. Yes.
Affirmations.
And your affirmations, girl. I'm so excited. You hear me? Somebody listen. In your affirmations, put it. It's bigger than me. You have to know your why. And I know that a lot of people who are tuned in right now, if you listen to Kenya or you watch me, it's bigger than you, and you know that. And you identify with that, which is why you are here in the first place.
Mhm.
So if you ever get doubty, remember that it's bigger than you. So moving forward, if you haven't already shared this, Kenya. So you were in corporate America.
Mhm.
And you were super duper dope. So then what was the driving force that said, okay, it's time for next?
Yeah.
Well, what was that fight? Because I know that was a whole nother fight. So there was a fight in this meeting. It's almost like there was a fight of growth when you got there. And so I know there had to be a whole nother fight to say, now I'm going into me. Now it's time to butterfly.
Yeah. So that was good. The butterfly. I almost cussed. That was real good.
I saw it.
That's what it was.
Oh Lord.
The fight. Yeah. So yeah, I was a senior executive. I was regional vice president of retail, where I ran multiple states. Thousands of people in the Midwest. And so a lot of people, and I got there in 8 years, from a frontline supervisor to that role in 8 years. So, and not many people, if any, in that company can say they had that same journey. And it happened, it went so fast. And I had great mentors surrounding me. And I will tell you that I felt so fulfilled every step of the way in that journey. The people that I met, the people that I still keep in contact with, thank goodness for social media. But there came a point to where, and it kind of lends to the last blog that I wrote about your pattern forward, right? Mm-hmm. So it came to a point to where the work that I was doing, because I ran a retail organization, but what I was doing as a part of that job that I wasn't getting paid for was being a leader from a diversity, equity, and inclusion. So I was the voice, really driving a lot of change throughout the entire organization, fighting what I need to fight who I needed to fight. But at the same time, I was also reaching back. And like I was lifting as I was climbing. So as many women and men that I could lift as I climbed, I felt like at one point I had so many people on my shoulders that I should have collapsed. But that was what I was doing and wasn't being asked to do it. That was what I was doing. And, I wasn't getting paid to do it because trust me, I ran a multi-million-dollar sales business. Driving sales was important. So much so that it confused my boss. My boss didn't understand, like, what are you doing? And two, the real question he wanted to ask was, how do you do all of that?
Wow.
And so, and I'm slowing the story down just a little bit because I have a point I'm making. But what I discovered in that obedience, because it was more of people just finding me. Yep, I'll talk to you. 60% of my calendar was meetings with other people. And a lot of those people weren't even in my organization. They were in my peers' organization. So 60% of my calendar, it was probably the worst part of my admin's job, was trying to get people on my calendar because people wanted to talk. They wanted to run this scenario by me. I get text messages. And what I found in that is the impact. And the legs grew on that, right? So I started seeing people move through the organization. I started seeing women and men get promotions and like doing all of these things while I'm fighting and while I'm still driving the business. So by the way, I still produce top results in what I was doing.
By the way.
And so it came a point to where inside, like a little nudging inside of me was like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is what you're supposed to be doing, is impacting lives and really helping people learn how to climb on their own. Because my thing is, I'm trying to teach you how to create your own lane. I'm not trying to get you in my lane, because like traffic on the highway, the more lanes, the faster we move. So if I want to see real significant change in representation, then I got to teach people how to create their own lanes, not get behind me. No. You can get behind me, but for a second. And then you got to get out. You got to get your own lane. You got to get some more people in your lane. And so I started getting this small nudging, but I ignored it. I was like, no, I'm still rolling along. I'm doing well, making tons of money, right? Doing things, traveling all over the world, giving my kids experiences that never in a million years, some people will never experience these things in a lifetime. So I was ignoring that. And what ended up happening is life started getting difficult at work. And what I now know is that I was missing the signs that God told me long time, probably a year before I started to move in that direction. So once it started to get real tight, in the blog, I talk about my pattern forward. One of the things that I realized is that although, you'll usually be fine, but you're wasting time and you'll have a lot of collateral damage. Once I got it, then it was really clear that my assignment there was over. And how did I know my assignment was over? Is I went back down again, memory lane, and I started looking at the track record of success. And from the moment I started at that organization and I moved to 4 or 5 cities over 12 years, taking on teams, bringing bottom performing teams up to the top, and I can I can see the people that have grown their careers because of my influence, because of my mentoring. Yeah, you're done here. Because this was just like training ground for what it is that you are supposed to do on a larger level. And so you learn how to fight. You learn how to give voice to others who do not have voice. You also learn how to help others to develop their voice. And now you got to get outside the 4 walls of this organization because this is a global need. And so I took the leap and I said, all right, God, you said my assignment here is over, then this assignment is over. And I always get asked, and I have to say this, I always get asked, how did you left all that money? Because I did. I left a lot of money. And here's the warning of success. Don't ever do anything for the money. If you're chasing the money, you will become a slave to the money. What you do is you chase your purpose. You chase your dreams and let the money follow and find you. Because the truth of the matter is, as long as you have everything that you need when you need it, you have enough. And so it just didn't faze me. And then I didn't change my lifestyle to, when I got that promotion, I didn't adjust my lifestyle to that level of earning. I kept my lifestyle that was comfortable for me and my family, and I increased my tithes, and I increased my philanthropy, and then I increased my investments and my savings. So it wasn't like I was handicapped to that money because I have this lifestyle I have to uphold. I didn't do that to myself because I always know that when God says move, I gotta move, and I can't be held down by what man says is the most important thing, which is earning a certain amount of money. I just don't believe that.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Somebody listen, if y'all don't put your hands together in that comment, in the comment box, go ahead, put them hands together. It's almost time to take offering because listen. All right, so it's a million nuggets here. But let me go ahead and see what the Saints are saying. Khadijah said it's bigger than me. Sierra said this is too good. Shade said absolutely. Beverly said don't become a slave to the money. I really love that. So in this whole story, I mean, there's so much in this story. I love how. And this is something. So you are like, I'm like your twin. I don't know if you know this, but right, I'm your twin. Okay. So I love how you said that first of all, there were clues.
Yes.
There were clues this entire time. And so as I've been on this mission, so for those of you that do not know, I started going live on Periscope like years ago. And let me put this here. When your focus shifts, that is because God is shifting your focus. Can we just type that in? When your focus shifts, it is because God is shifting your focus. And so I randomly started looking at other things, like when it came to video, when it came to live video, when it came to other things. And those were like little clues that something was happening. And then I started to go live. And it's like once you take a step, then something else happens. And so while you were here on this corporate journey, you're doing your job. But while you're doing your job, you are running into yourself, like even more of yourself, like more of you is being activated. And that was so good for me because I feel like a lot of people are stuck because they have so many different things that they want to do, not realizing that all you have to do is one. If you start at one, the others will come. So I love that there were clues. You were working, doing your job, and then people started coming to you to where it's like you're balancing this is my job, but this is kind of a job too.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty good that they're coming to me and I can help them and I'm seeing them do these things. And the next thing that I love that you said was, man, create your own lane. You weren't creating your clones. Right. You were helping people figure out themselves. Like, because you're not me. You're you, and you're amazing as you. And listen, first of all, this is such a t-shirt. Listen here, the more lanes, the faster the traffic. The more lanes, the faster the traffic. So stop trying to get into my lane and create your lane so that we all can take off. We all can take off. Love that. I'm gonna listen. You already know. I took notes. So that's what it is. And so you're helping people create their lanes. And in this whole time, you're kind of just missing the signs. You're just doing it. You're just like, oh, it's a lot. But I'm helping. So I'm a good person. I'm helping, but these are all clues. But and
it became seamless too. Like there was never a time. I remember having a really tense conversation with a peer, and he was like, "You have to be exhausted by doing all of that." And I was like, "Actually, I'm not. Like, I'm not exhausted." And I think that's another clue, right? Because where the work may have been time consuming, because it definitely was time consuming, it was not overwhelming, because what I enjoyed the most is I enjoyed when I saw announcements saying someone got a promotion, or if I got a phone call, and I enjoyed those moments where people really truly started to see what their potential really was. And I loved when women found their voice. Like, they would always say, "You embolden us." Like, okay, but so now you're emboldened, roll, right? You don't need me anymore. what you're here to do, so do it. And so for me, it wasn't exhausting because I enjoyed seeing people discover their own power.
I love that. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. I love it. And then the biggest thing that I really think that we need to get here is how you talked about don't chase money. There was so much that you were leaving in this decision. And I think that a lot of us stand still, and I don't even think we miss the signs more than we ignore the signs. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's good.
No, Lord. Like, on the other side. You know? Like the meme where it's like, okay, Lord, if it's not for me, you know, and the girl's like laying under the stop sign. It's like, Lord, show me something else because I don't want to leave this. We so comfortable, or obviously there's societal standards and things like that, but not realizing that there's so much more self-discovery. I think that is the point where I am. And that's why this conversation is so good for me, because there's so much self-discovery once you get out of being comfortable.
Yeah. You master yourself. Master yourself, right? Yeah. That's what this is all about, is mastering yourself. We're not put here to master other people. We're here to master ourselves first. And that frees everybody else up to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
listen, don't chase the money, chase your dreams, chase your purpose. Yes. And this is pretty much like the last question, well, second from the last. When did you start getting out of your own way? When was that moment that you said, it's me? It's not the enemy, it's the inner me. Let me work on this.
It was when I found out that I was pregnant with my son. And my son will be 21 in August. I was terrified because I didn't want kids. Like, that wasn't my life. Like, I no kids, no ma'am, no marriage either. I was going to be a high-powered executive living in a high-rise apartment in a big city with a convertible. That's all I was going to do.
Okay. I can see that.
My life is just a story that God knows better than we do. But when I got pregnant with my son, it was like a wake-up moment for me, because what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to fail him. Once I realized the magnitude of the responsibility of being a mother and being his all and his first teacher and all these things, it was like something snapped inside of me. And he knows, I say it to him all the time, like, you were like the best thing that ever happened to me, because you forced me to take a hard look at what I thought, how I felt, how I saw the world, from a vantage point of what do I want to impart upon my son. So the turning point for me was 22 years ago now, I guess, because you're pregnant before that. When I found out, right? When I found out I was pregnant with my son is when I really started the journey of getting out of my own way. And when you're on these journeys, it's ebb and flow, right? It's cyclical, just like life is. So sometimes you do a better job than others. And I'll tell you that the story that I tell myself continues to be a leading lady in my life. Every new opportunity, every new project, even with the Power Tribe, like, I've had to stop and check in on the story that I'm telling myself so much since I started on this journey with the Power Tribe. I have an opportunity with Johannesburg in South Africa, and like I was like, oh, right. And so I had to, like, hold on, Kenya, what are you telling yourself? Right? I'm scared. I don't know the culture. I don't know that they'll understand me. I don't know that they'll embrace me. So I had to go back through all of these stories that I'm telling myself. So the story I'm telling myself continues to be the leading lady in my life as I make these brave, bold moments matter. So I started 20 something years ago, but I have not arrived, because as long as you have breath, as long as you're continuing to move forward, as long as you're continuing, because I feel like you don't have one purpose, right? You have assignments. Life is a series of assignments, and we call that purpose, but life is a series of assignments. And once this assignment is over, you're going to be given another one, or you're going to go down for the last count. Right? As long as you're living, you will be getting another assignment. So I still haven't arrived, and I don't want people to think that I have. I've just, over the 21, 22 years, I have developed a process that I commit to help me always stay aware and in front of myself. And I pay less attention to other people, right? Like I don't really get caught up in what other people are saying about me. Now, that is a strength that I have. I don't you almost will never hear me talk about haters. Like I don't even know what those are, because the biggest roadblock in my life is me. It is not other people. And it doesn't mean that people have not come up against me. It does not mean that people have not tried to sabotage me. Like I can tell you stories for days and days and days, but I don't dwell there, because remember, I recall the good stories, and the good story is even though they tried, they failed. And so I don't spend time there.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Somebody type in, the biggest roadblock in my life is me. The biggest roadblock in my life is me. The biggest roadblock in my life is me. It's not anybody else. It's not what happened. It's not how it happened. It's not what they did. The biggest roadblock in my life is me. Now, let me see. So, yeah, Sakara said, if you had your job to do for free, what would it be? What would it be? That's really good. Just seeing what they're saying. Listen, clues. Sierra said clues, literally. Janelle is clapping her hands. Beverly said amazing. So this is good stuff, Kenya. I am so glad that you took the time out of your day to join the Power Push over here. I have been doing this for a good minute, and I have been saying this all week. It's like I have a battery pack, and my battery is full now. And I'm just excited that you came on to share you with us. Just so graceful. And I just feel like a lot of people can relate. Listen, if you can relate to almost everything, that Kenya has said, go ahead and type in, I can relate. I can relate. I can relate. I can relate. It's so relatable. I actually just told my son the other day. I tell them all the time, like, you guys do not know what you have done for me. And we don't even have the same story, but that actually is the exact same. That's exactly when I started discovering myself.
Yeah.
Not to say that I was perfect, but I slowly started to discover myself. But it wasn't for me, again, because it was bigger than me. It had nothing to do with me, really. It had everything to do with these people, and then other people, and then other people. And so it just had something to do with lives. So Sakara said, I can relate. Erica, I can relate. Beverly, I can relate. I can relate. Listen, Shanae said, I can definitely relate. So we just thank you so much. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you the floor for a moment in time. And I want you to go ahead and push the person who is watching this, who feels like there is more, but they are standing in their own way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, first, thank you for the opportunity. I have been blessed by this as well. So a push moment is what I'll call it. And if you are experiencing this moment, and I like to call it a vortex, right? And so you're in this vortex where you know that there's more for you out there, or some people call it a desire to be more, to do more, to have more. The first thing I want to tell you is you're right. There is more. There is more for you to have. There's more for you to be. There is a legacy that is waiting on you. Each one of us, when we are birthed, when God has said, I am going to bring this soul down to earth as a human being, he also says, there is a purpose for you. There is some work that you are going to do to help advance my kingdom. And so you're right. If you have that small inkling inside of you churning, you're right. Don't be fooled that you're overthinking. Don't be fooled, because what the most detrimental thing you can do to yourself is talk yourself out of your destiny. And so what would I tell you to do first? The first thing I would tell you to do is say a prayer of gratitude. Say a prayer of thanksgiving to God for the moment that he's starting to awaken you, the moment that he's starting to have you tap into who you truly are. Tell him thank you for that, because that moment, sometimes some people go their whole lives and that moment never hits them. So for that, you should be very grateful. The next thing I would tell you to do is Make a list. Make a list. And I am a purist. If you've ever heard me speak, I write a lot, I journal a lot. Make a list of all of the thoughts that are going through your minds, the thoughts, the ideas, the feelings, excited, scared, nervous. Like, make a list, write it down. The reason you're doing that is you're getting it out. Because a lot of times we get stuck because we're holding things in. And when you hold things in, you don't allow things to move. It's like anything else. If I barricade a door, no one's going to be able to get in the door. If I lock the door, no one's going to be able to get into the door. So the same for you. If you are holding things in, you are literally blocking anything else from coming your way. So get it out. Get it out, put it on paper, get it out, and exhaust yourself at it. If you got to do it 2-3 times, do it multiple times. The other thing I would tell you is write a love letter to yourself. Write a love letter to yourself. And what I mean by a love letter, it's not, the love letter that you're thinking of when you think of a significant other, but write a love letter to yourself where you really, truly look deeply into all of the gifts that you have, all of the talents that you have, and you know them because people say it to you all the time. Your close friends, your coworkers, they say it. Oh, you know what? You are always so, every time you are so, you know what? You are so, right? I'll get all that stuff out. And then the last thing I would tell you in all of this is revisit yourself in those 3 things all the time. Revisit it. I revisit mine at least once a week. I go back to the prayer of Thanksgiving or my gratitude prayer at least once a week. Mondays are my days because it kind of sets the tone for my day. And then I also go back and I reread my love letter to myself because it is a constant reminder when I start to feel stuck, when I start to feel doubt creeping in, because those things happen. And we always hear, I'm a Christian, I know that Jesus died for my sins so that I might be saved. And so in our community, we hear that the devil tries to creep in, right? He's come to steal and destroy. And so we have to be armored. We have to be guarded, and we have to make sure that we have things in our toolkit that'll help us get through those moments. And so those 2 things help me. And so what I would end this in, this whole push thing, Dia, is such a blessing, but no one is going to help you push. No one. You have to decide within yourself that you will do it for yourself. And I have this hashtag, it's a choice, because the sum of our lives is just all about the choices that we make. So choose today that you will push. Choose today that you won't deny when you're scared, but what you will do is you will remind yourself of what makes you special. You will remind yourself of what gifts you bring. You will remind yourself of the countless times that you have been successful, from the smallest of things to the grandest of things. You will remind yourself, but you won't ignore that this is just a moment in time that I feel off. This is just a moment in time, yet it won't stop me. So thank you guys so much. Dia, I am done. I don't know how you want to end, but thank you guys so much for your time. God bless all of you. And please check me out. Check out the powertribecommunity.com. Check out Power Tribe Community on Instagram. Thank you, Dia.
Listen, put your hands together for the Miss Kenya Dunn. You have blessed us today, Miss Kenya. You have been amazing. Thank you so much just for being a part and for sharing you with us. This was so many nuggets. Listen, I can push you, but it really won't work because you have to do it yourself. Somebody type in hashtag it's a choice. I love that. Hashtag it's a choice. Kenya, I love you so much.
I love you, girl.
Much for being a part of the Power Push. So I'm going to take you out. Listen, was that show not? Come on. If this was good for you, somebody type in push. Push. This was good for me. This was like so good for me. This whole topic of me versus me, we're going to keep it going. Next week, another special guest. But we're going to keep talking because I just believe in this moment that we need to be aware. We need to definitely amp up our personal awareness. All of us have blind spots. We judge ourselves by our intent, right? We judge ourselves by our intent because we know what the intent of what we do is. But we have so many blind spots. But it's time for us to be self-aware so that we can truly move forward and push into where God has destined us to be. It is time to be uplifted, encouraged, to unlock yourself so that you can be repositioned for greatness. Somebody type in push. Aaron Jagger said hi. Hey, listen, this was really good for me. If you haven't already shared this out, go ahead and share this with someone. In the midst of everything that's going on in this world and everything that even happened over the holiday, someone can use some inspiration. I have a thought, I have a feeling that there's someone who can use this inspiration, this motivation today to go ahead and take advantage of every second that you have to live. Some of us are putting things off for tomorrow, and to be honest, tomorrow isn't promised. So if you're going to leave a legacy, today is the day. If you're going to do something different, today is the day. If you are going to push forward, today is the day. So go ahead and share this out. I absolutely love y'all. Y'all know I do. Again, I am Dia. I'm your homegirl here to uplift and encourage you to get unstuck and reposition your life for greatness. I'm your homegirl with one dimple, some cute, and a whole lot of God. And I'm here to push you to your next. Until next week. Peace out, guys. See you guys later. You guys have an amazing Wednesday. Peace. Okay. I love y'all. Love y'all. Love y'all. Love y'all. Love y'all. Here we go.
Wake up! It's time to push, y'all! It's the Power Push Podcast with Gia Patterson. Let's go!
It's the power push. Get the Silverman and power push all over your timeline. Power push. You can catch it on replay or you can watch us live. Power push. If you can dream it, believe it, do it. Power push. Let's power push. Power push. Let's power push. Power push with push it to the limit, push it to the limit. And start your Wednesday right from the beginning. A dose of inspiration in 7 minutes. So here's an invitation, come through and kick it. On Facebook Live at 8 a.m. Now like this vid and share with a friend. If you're too tired up to tune in, just hit the replay so either way you win. Dream it, believe it, let's do it, y'all. We all can achieve, push through it, y'all. Dream it, believe it, let's do it, y'all. We all can achieve, push through it, y'all. Yeah.